Good evening, everyone. I'm Luca, and tonight I would like to share with you my passion for science. And in particular, I will focus on 3 words, because I realized that wedowe and science have a lot in common. And as I said, I will focus on 3 words today: chaos, fun, and passion. Chaos in form of random connections and unpredicted results. This is what's happening also here, right? After the presentations, we go to a small borel and you meet new people that probably you would have never met. You share a project, an idea, and maybe you can also do a business together. Fun, because we always try to make people laugh at least once while they are learning something new. And passion, because I'm sure that in every one of you there is passionate about something, and he or she is willing to share his own passion and to know other people once. And I couldn't even imagine science without fun or passion. And without chaos, random connection and unpredicted results, probably science would be 100 years back. So let me start with fun. If you only had time to go through the thousands of scientific papers published every year, I can guarantee you that you can find fun. You can find masterpieces like this: pressures produced when penguins poo, calculations on avian defecation. I know what you're thinking. Why did they invest millions of euros to investigate into that? I mean, those guys went to Antarctica and they also did a kind of, I don't know, a kinematic model to simulate the penguin while he's defecating. Real picture for comparison. So, I don't know, I'm not a polar biologist, but I read the article actually, and I learned that the penguins try to defecate as far as possible from their nest. So they're very tidy animals. It's not like us, we have the bathroom in our houses, right? And for your information, the research group is also planning to do another trip to Antarctica to investigate whether the penguin can choose also the direction of the defecation, or if it depends on the wind direction. We don't know. It's a question that the science needs to answer. So the most important thing is that 25 years ago, they recognized the importance of the funny side of science. They established this prize, which is the Ig Nobel Prize, that honors achievements to make people laugh and then think. And this brings me to the next funny story, which is a good example of random connection and fun. Because in 2013, the winner of the Ig Nobel Prize for the joint category of biology and astronomy is University of Lund, that discovered that dung beetles use the Milky Way for orientation. I know what you're thinking, again feces, right? But this is pretty amazing, because those small animals were they were studying the ability of those dung beetles to roll their huge ball of feces following the moonlight. One night, it was moonless. Yet they understood that they were still orientating themselves and they were going on straight lines. And then they discovered that they were using the light emitted from the Milky Way. How amazing is that? And it's even more amazing that those processes can lead to a better development of future autonomous vehicles and robots. So science is weird, and it might also act in mysterious ways. And we have already heard this sentence somewhere else, right? So how science works, how scientific discoveries happen, can say also something about science works. There is maybe a possibility that one person was there at the right moment, and there is a word for this, which is serendipity. Or a happy accident that can be exploited by a clever person. And this brings me to the next story, the story of Percy Spencer. And you should be all grateful to Percy Spencer, because he was working for a contractor company for the US Department of Defense, and they were working on radars. One day he was working on an active radar set, and yet he noticed that the candy bar he had in his pocket totally melted. Bang! Science. And now you can have your crisp bacon in 90 seconds because he invented the microwave oven. So we needed the candy bar, the unpredictable event, but we needed also Percy Spencer, because he was not the first one to notice this effect. He was the first one to investigate it. And this is maybe one of the most important discoveries of the previous century. Sir Alan Fleming, he was studying the property of some bacteria in his really unclean laboratory. At least this is what other scientists reported. And then he decided to go on holidays for 1 month. But before, he stacked all the cultures of its bacteria on the corner of its laboratory. And when he came back, he noticed that one culture was contaminated by a fungus, and that all the cultures around it, the bacteria were all dead. And he said, that's funny. So funny that he won the Nobel Prize for the discovery of penicillin in this way. So there is fun and chaos in science, but there is of course passion, there is determination, there is romanticism. and everything is often covered by a huge amount of failures. Without passion, it's hard to even begin the first step of scientific research, the PhD. And I would like to tell you what a PhD is with the words of Matt Might, which is a university professor that created the illustrated guide to a PhD to motivate his graduate students. And he said, imagine that all the human knowledge is within this circle. When you finish primary school, you know a little. When you finish high school, you know a little bit more. With a bachelor degree, you gain a specialty. And with a master degree, you deepen that specialty. And if you decide to go for a PhD, well, you will have to read thousands of scientific papers that will bring you to the edge of the human knowledge. And once you are there, the hard work begins, because you have to focus for years. You have to push the boundary, and you will fail a lot. But one day, that boundary will give sway. And what you have made, that dent, is called PhD. And it's your own contribution to scientific knowledge. Of course, after focusing a lot, the world looks different to you. So don't forget the big picture and keep pushing. So I think science is the systematic transformation of the unknown into the known through chaos, passion, and fun, and a lot of failures. It's then also the transformation of the impossible into the possible. Thank you.